Hello and welcome back to the RotoWire esports show. I'm Andrew Laird, joined as always by Ethan Sexton today to talk about Saturday's 5-game LPL LCK slate. Before we do, Sandbox.
I don't want to talk about it, man. I should have told you before we started recording not to bring it up. All right, I'm in a fragile emotional state right now.
Before you say anything about it, though, are you fragile about it just because you didn't play them, or because now we have to talk about it every time they're on the slate?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm really not in a fragile mental state to be honest. I'm a little annoyed that I didn't play them and they decided to cause a big upset. But whatever. I'm not gonna worry about it too much because they've been crap in every other time I've played them. Right. So I mean, it gives a little more credence to their chances on particular slates, I guess. But other than that, I think they're still, unfortunately, not going to be very good the rest of the way. So it doesn't really swing my opinion too much. It's just like annoying that they won on a slate where I didn't play them, right? So
I long say about DFS that it always bothers me the people who are wrong about something for so long and then they're finally right. But like the thing with DFS is you have to be able to take the losses, and then when you're right, you got to make sure that you benefit significantly from when you're right. And I think the only problem with Sandbox is if you've played them the whole time, there's no way you benefited yesterday or this morning because you're definitely broke by now.
Right, yeah. Like if I had kept playing Sandbox, do I even have money left to play?
Yeah, no way.
Probably not.
It took too long.
Without me depositing.
Right. It just took too long for them to finally win. And so I don't think anybody should feel bad.
No, I don't care. I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed that they won when I wasn't on them, but why would I be on them based on their form and based on their opponent? So it's whatever. It's like when our boys Fred Agrion beat Damwon. It's like just shake your head and move on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to this 5-game Saturday slate, which is always nice to have an extra game. Damwon, speaking of Fred Brion, Damwon, biggest favorite against Africa. Then we have LNG against LGD. Those two are kind of the bigger favorites. And then the next tier is T1, our favorite, against KT. FPX favorite over Rare Atom. And then the kind of pick'em is Edward Gaming against Royal Never Give Up. So EDG the slight favorite in that one, but that's obviously going to be the headliner of the day.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's the marquee matchup for sure, and the tough one to predict for DFS purposes, right? Let's just talk about T1 briefly, okay? So T1, I think you're crazy to play T1 at all tomorrow unless you just want to go for the ownership leverage, because they're not going to be owned. I can't imagine anyone wants to play them with no certainty on their lineup and with no certainty at this point the way they've been playing that they're even going to win in this matchup. So I'm not going to play T1 anywhere. Can understand why people would if they want to take a shot on the leverage, but you still need to get their players right, which is going to be very difficult to do. But at the same time, I'm not really going to play KT either. Okay, I think T1 should. It's getting harder and harder to say this, but I feel like T1 should win that matchup. So I don't have a lot of faith in KT to win, right? So that's that matchup is an avoid for me. So I'm almost playing tomorrow like a 4-game slate. And then when we start looking at it in those terms as a 4-gamer, the first thing I really notice on this slate is that I think I like FPX at a discounted price tomorrow. So Rare Atom are like that team that beats the bad teams but can't usually stand up to the good teams, right?
Yes, sir.
So I like FPX looking at this, taking the 1,000-foot view here, just opening up DraftKings and looking at salaries. I think FPX are priced pretty nicely at a slight discount in a matchup that we think they should win. I think I would rather play – I don't know. I think I would rather play FPX at their prices than pay all the way up for LNG, even though LNG are facing off against a worse team, right? So I like the discount on FPX tomorrow. And then Damwon as the biggest favorites, rightfully so. I think Afrika are like a bottom half team in the league, and Damwon have been getting better and better, all split really.
Yep.
So they're pretty tough. Obviously, we know that, defending world champs. They deserve to be the biggest favorites. They're not the most expensive in every role. They're pretty expensive.
Yeah, they are.
Across the board, though. But I like them as well. And then I guess I'm just rattling stuff off one by series here, and then so I'm talking too much. I'm not letting you get in here. I'm sorry.
Not at all. Not at all.
But yeah, then like looking at LNG, I think like we'd say against an opponent like LGD or Rogue Warriors or OMG, we're like, well, that's the safest matchup on the slate. But are LNG going to pay off the salaries? I think that comes into question a little bit.
I think it's weird to, and obviously it has a lot to do with LGD, but it's weird to me to be like, I'm going to pay as much as I possibly can for LNG, which likely takes me away from teams like FPX, EDG, RNG. Like I know the RNG, EDG is kind of a toss up and you can play either side, but like those teams are really good and LNG not really good. And yet I have to pay so much more only because LGD is so bad. And like, I'm not sure that like jives enough with me. To go back to where you started, T1 KT, there's like no way I'm playing T1. And I think the only reason why I'm considering playing KT is just out of T1's spite. Like no other reason than just spiteful energy, which I don't think is the optimal way to play DFS. But if other people do it, like I'm on board, like I get it. I totally get it. It is weird to me, like just looking at the odds, and like I'm somebody who obviously I don't follow League of Legends enough where like I need the odds to help me. T1 is like a slightly bigger favorite over KT than FPX is over Rare Atom. And not that I think Rare Atom and KT are equal, but I just look at FPX so much better than T1. And I don't know if it's because of how much T1 has screwed us. And that really has nothing to do with like their win odds. Like it's just,
right.
But I just like FPX just totally jumped out at me on this slate as like, they should be able to take care of business. I don't have to pay all the way up for them. LNG and Damwon are more expensive, and they probably, like matchup wise, they should be. But like, unfortunately, I love FPX tomorrow, and I think if you just make a handful of lineups, you could just do FPX EDG, FPX RNG, and just you're good to go.
Yep, no, I'm with you. I definitely think like. I definitely think Damwon and FPX have more upside than this LNG team. So if they're all going to sweep, right, I think LNG is the lowest scoring of those three teams probably.
Right.
They could come out and be the highest scoring team, but they're not really like that kind of team. I mean, in most senses, like they had that sweep over the weekend where they didn't score well. They really didn't score well at all except for Light because he had 20 kills.
Right.
So if he doesn't get 20 kills again, like, is anyone going to score enough to really pay off these massive salaries tomorrow? I'm not sure. Like, Light is the highest scoring or highest priced AD carry tomorrow, and I get why because he's coming off a pretty huge series and he's got a weak opponent. But like, give me LWX over Light all day, right? Like, give me Viper, give me Gala, give me if I knew Teddy or Gumayusi was starting, give me those
right.
guys over Light on any day. It's just the matchup is obviously the best matchup on this slate is the LGD one, right? So I get why they're priced up that way, but and maybe it's a bias of just watching the game and like these other players are better players than Light, but Light just has the best matchup on the slate. So. But if Light doesn't, get 20 kills again, is he going to outscore some of these other guys that are looking likely to get sweeps? Whether it be like LWX or even Ghost. Like we don't think of Ghost as like the main carry threat for this Damwon team, but he can be in certain matchups. And if Damwon get a sweep, he could outproduce Light as well. So
yeah.
I just like FPX at the discount. I'm in the same boat you are, man. So yeah. that's kind of where I like first went with my lineups, and then I was like, who do I want to pair this up with? Basically, was kind of how I looked at it. So
Yeah. So,
I'm on board.
so just looking at like the per game stats, like LNG has the second lowest kills per game.
Yep.
Like, so I'm going into this like, do I want to pay the highest salary at multiple positions for the team that averages the second fewest kills per game? And it's like, now I'm playing them. I mean, you can flip it the other way and just be like, they're playing the team that averages the most deaths, and LGD's only like slightly ahead of KT. So it's not like it's that drastic, but like I wish there was like more. Actually, maybe I should be thankful that they're so expensive because I'm not even tempted to play them. That like everything that I look for, LNG is not checking any boxes except the fact that they're playing LGD. And so if I'm taking that game off the slate and I'm taking T1, now I'm celebrating this 5-game slate by turning it into a 3-game slate.
Yeah.
I just like, I can't see, as weird as it sounds, because we always talk about how like the biggest favorite is always really popular. I just can't see people like going to LNG and being like, yeah, this is where I want to go. I'm going to play them, or like double jungler or support captains with LNG and FPX, or like, you don't want to do that.
No. I mean, I don't. Yeah, you're right. I don't, man. I can see why people go to LNG just because it's the perceived safety of the matchup, right? So, but I think like when we consider like, so yeah, even if they get a sweep, I mean, if they don't score well and they're going to be really high owned because of this matchup, like I'd much rather take my shots with a FPX or a Damwon or whoever I think is going to win in that RNG EDG series, right? So that's just how I'm playing it. So yeah, I mean, you can kind of narrow it down to a 3-gamer, and then it makes it. But then the 3-gamer is really not that easy because you've got RNG and EDG. So if you don't want to make the decision and take a stand on who you want to win there, then you're looking at a 2-gamer.
That's a good point.
So that's, I guess, how you narrow it down. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's I was starting my lineups with this FPX team. I like the salaries for them on this slate, and I think the matchup should be fine. They should be able to take care of business against Rare Atom. So, yeah, that's where I was looking. I'm with you about LNG, right? It's the combination of not sure if they have the upside to pay off their salaries, and if they're going to be 40% owned or whatever the case may be. Like, I'd rather go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost wondering if we think that LNG is that popular, which like I actually don't think they're going to be as popular as other favorites of their size have been. But like if they were, I'm definitely making an LGD lineup. Like I think we've talked about like a number of times on this week of just like the leverage is obviously with the biggest underdog, but like we're like you're only playing them because of that.
Yep.
But I feel like every team that we were discussing in that respect, they were up against a very, very, very good team. Like it was like Top or who was the one earlier this week? It wasn't EDG. JDG maybe? Whatever it was.
I think it was JDG. Was it JDG today, right?
Right,
against
right.
E-Star?
Right. I just like, I mean, I said it before, like paying this much for LNG players just feels wrong.
Yeah, I mean, but to that point, I don't think I play LGD though either. You don't, but like on a 5-gamer, you don't need the same. You don't need to go there for your leverage like on a 2-gamer, right? So, I don't see LGD winning. It's more just a question of LNG's point totals tomorrow for me.
Do you think Rare Atom has a better shot of winning as opposed to Afrika or KT?
Afrika, yes. I think I'd rather play KT though because T1 have been so crap lately. But I do think Rare Atom have a better shot than Afrika to win. But I don't think Rare Atom are going to win, right?
Sure.
So I'm not looking to go there. I think if Rare Atom won, they wouldn't score very well either. So I'm not really looking at Rare Atom at all. But yeah, I would give Rare Atom a better chance to win than Afrika. maybe, I don't know. I think I give KT a better chance to win than both just because T1 have been so up and down and mostly down lately.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not really looking at any of them. It's like I don't trust KT to win that matchup enough to want to go there, and then I just think that Rare Adam and Afrika outright lose. So not really looking at any of those three teams, honestly. I could see doing like a one-off with the KT team slot if you needed the salary, maybe. Because they could take a game even if they lose. I don't think that would be a big surprise at all. So I could see doing that, but I'm not sure I want to go all in on any of those three teams, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. It's funny because I feel like we were both like really into FPX for a while. They lose to WE, they lose to RNG, and we're just like, oh man, like maybe they're done. But the whole Bo situation was like really throwing them off. And then they sweep JDG the very next slate. We're like, give them all to me. Give me the FPX.
Right. We got too sour on them too fast for losing to two good teams, right?
Two really good teams, yeah.
I think we were just nervous because the whole jungle situation was really up in the air, and we'd only seen Beishuan that one time, and he didn't look great, but it was against a very good team. And then he came out, and they righted the ship, this week. So I think they're a little easier to trust now that we've seen some good performances out of him. And I mean the rest of that lineup was never in question. It was just we weren't really sure what we were getting with the jungle spot, right? So. And
now I'm ready for them just to totally smash. Like I'm like, Rare Adam's not in the realm of the teams that they lost to or JDG who they beat, and so I'm like, all right, I'm in.
Yep, no, I'm with you. I mean, you look at the lane matchups and like, give me FPX marked by a wide margin in every single lane, and then so as long as Beishuan doesn't like screw up, they should be perfectly fine.
You have a call on RNG EDG?
I knew you were going to ask me, and I don't really want to make one, okay? But I don't know. It's very tough to call because I think they're extremely evenly matched in like all these lanes, right? Like I don't look at these lane matchups or this jungle matchup and think like there's a huge advantage anywhere. Like the one that stands out a little is like I think I would take Viper and Mako over Gala and Ming, but it's like not by any significant margin at all. Right. Like I just think, man, this is going to be a great one to watch. It's really hard to call, and I don't have a lean. I guess gun to my head, man. There's no head.
Gun. Don't worry.
Yeah. All right. No. I guess just speaking in hypotheticals, I guess like if someone was forcing me to pick, I think I would side with EDG like 51-49. Like I don't feel great about picking the winner in that series, and I wonder if it's going to be lower paced for DFS as well. I think either team could come out and be the highest scoring on the slate, but I wonder if it's going to be a little slower paced just because they're so evenly matched. I feel like it might be hard to snowball out of control any game. Probably looking at it 2-1. So I wonder if it's going to be a little slower paced for DFS, and it's just a very close series. It should be a fun one to watch.
That's exactly how I was thinking of it. That it's just maybe they're a little not too methodical, but maybe they're just neither team gets out of control because they're just two good teams. It shouldn't happen.
Yeah, right.
I mean, to nail it home, EDG is currently minus 116 to win, and RNG is minus 105.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a pick 'em.
Yep, for sure.
All right.
So, and rightfully so, man. Two good teams should be a good one. They're pretty evenly matched, in my opinion. So.
For sure.
Tough one to call.
If you guys have enjoyed the video, if you could please hit the like button below. Feel free to subscribe to all of the RotoWire videos covering a bunch of sports other than League of Legends. You can also try a RotoWire subscription for free for 10 days, no credit card required. Just go to rotowire.com/pod, that's POD, to see everything we have of all sports, including our in-depth League of Legends stats and cheat sheets to get you ready for these DFS slates. Those are linked in the episode description as well, so feel free to check those out. Ethan, thank you for that, and good luck on Saturday.
All right, same to you. Good luck, guys.